What exactly are they proud of? What exactly are they proud of? Are they proud of the fact that their ancestors kept a certain percentage of the population from reaching education? Are they proud of their ancestors stopping people from taking public roads? Are they proud of their ancestors forcing a set of population to wear a pot around their neck and carry a broom attached to their hip? What exactly are they proud of?
Welcome back to the podcast. Call me Trouble. Today, I'm joined by someone whose words have deeply resonated with me. She is the author of the book Silk Route, which is a collection of poems written by her. She is also a lyricist and an artist. She is the powerful voice who fearlessly confronts the harsh realities of caste, privilege, and identity through her work. Her perspectives are raw, unfiltered, and thought provoking, makes us question the narratives that we have grown up with. What drew me to her was how effortlessly she connects history, culture, and lived experiences, shedding light on issues that many choose to ignore. Her work has inspired me to dig deeper into my own journey and confront the uncomfortable truths about caste and our societal structures. It's none other than Aleena, known as I See Some Letters on Instagram. Today, we are going to have an honest and eye opening conversation about caste, societal biases, and the unspoken truths that continue to shape our world. So, let's dive right in. Hi, Aleena. Welcome to the podcast, Call Me Trouble. It's a space where we challenge the societal norms and question the narrative, mostly related to Indian culture. And I should say, when I came across your work on Instagram, I felt like it's related to what I feel about in terms of the caste system in India. So, to begin with, I'm curious to know what sparked that fire within you to speak about caste and these things.
I think we all grow up to ignore all the problems in the world, like our parents and the society mostly focus on individual success stories, like how a person became successful, beating all the systemic challenges. And the focus is on us to challenge, not just challenge, to overcome all these difficulties. So we never learn to actually question the system, which makes it difficult for some people and easy for some people to succeed. So I was also thinking like that. I didn't know that it's a world which is not designed for me. It's not, the culture is not designed for me. And I reached college and I started facing these realities, because until then I was living in a bubble of ignorance that even if we hear every day, we hear news of Dalits being attacked or something like that, we are somehow normalized to it. And also we have this feeling that this thing won't happen to us because we are leading a bit more comfortable lives in another part of the country or another part of the state, so this thing won't happen to us. Exactly. With gender crimes, when rapes and gender crimes happen, we used to ignore it because somehow we feel like it's their fault to actually the thing to happen to them. It's their fault. By victim blaming, we actually escape being victims ourselves. So that's the usual way of going about it. But when I reached college, all these things were too loud, too obvious to not notice. So that's how I started engaging in the conversation, because I wanted to understand myself. I wanted to understand what's happening to me, what is stopping me from achieving certain things in life, what is making me things difficult. So I found the answer is just caste and gender. All these patriarchal and casteist systems are working against a set of people, making things difficult for them. And it's leading this country into a very dangerous path. So that's how I started.
I could very much relate with you when you mentioned things like, especially when we hear in the news about rape and stuff, it's mostly this thing. I came across people around saying, what is she doing there at this point? Like you said, it is the victim blaming. So ever since I came across your work, that's when I started to do my own research, because I have faced this firsthand too, but I never spoke up about this until now. I think when I was in my eighth standard, one of my friends brought this topic of reservation and how it is very unfair for these people belonging to this OC caste, other caste section, right? She made it in a way like it is unfair for them in terms of the merit, and as if people are being freely given this choice despite of their merit level. So I just listened to it and I kept it to myself, even though it did hurt me to an extent. When I was doing my bachelor's, this is much later. So these are my two close friends, like one of my two close friends. I thought they were my close friends. So she was telling my other friend, she made this about someone else. She whispered, she is an ST. That comment, that's the big news, just labeling someone as that. And that itself is like a news. And the way she has said it, she whispered with an undertone to it, like degrading a person based on that label. It's just these subtle comments that we hear from our friends just because they don't have broader knowledge about ourselves and our background. They tend to think that it's okay to make such comments related to caste. Even when we were at school, society tends to remind us, even though we don't know anything about it. It's like in school, we need to fill in these forms where we need to tick these boxes. What's our religion? What's our caste? So that's when I realized about these things, but it didn't make much sense to me then. So that really stuck with me to this level. I wouldn't blame them because she might have learned it from their parents, which has been passed over generationally, this degrading others. So that's my first-hand experience. But until I came across your work, I realized that it is still far worse than what I have experienced. I have seen your posts and stories about how much hatred people spread. I feel like I just can't believe, even though the educated people, they're saying such horrible things just based on caste. So that's my experience.
Make these kind of comments like very passively because it's very normalized in the society. Because
Mm.
up to very recently, the Malayalam films passively and normally used these caste slurs in the movies by heroes calling the villain a caste slur. So it was very much normalized in the society to mention someone by their caste or poke fun at each other, or if there is an oppressed caste person whispering about their caste. All these things are very much normal in our society up to now. Even now, it's so normal. So we have to like constantly talk against it, talk about it, and just bring this consciousness to the public that this is not okay. Actually, it's not fair that we have to do it, but someone must do it.
Yeah, I feel like we got to speak up about things. Otherwise, people take it as a message that we will talk whatever, we will say things as long as people keep quiet. And ever since I came across your work, I have started to read Annihilation of Caste. And based on my research, I've been watching some documentaries and movies as well. What I have learned is like ghastly. It brings me to tears. Such a horrible treatment in the history. Even now, it's not fair. It still exists.
Yeah, a lot of caste crimes happen even today. I think people like me are in a bit more privileged position that I may not encounter such things like normal village people encounter. Like last year, I heard that a man was killed, a 25-year-old man was killed for asking for fair wages, a Dalit man. So I think I'm spared from all that kind of acts of violence because I got the opportunity to be educated. I had the privilege to surround myself with friends, those people who have the consciousness to treat me like a person, treat me like a human. So I had all this privilege to protect myself. All these came from education or the access to information or being able to speak in English and all these things. But when I think about my amma, my mother in the village, she often faces these kind of prejudices more directly. Like she has friends, she has church mates who refuse to drink her tea or eat her food. If I meet that kind of a person, I won't talk to them ever again. I would just ignore them. Maybe I won't fight with them or anything. I would just ignore them. But people like my amma is forced to interact with them because she doesn't know anyone else. She doesn't have my privilege to cut people off like that. She would have to still interact with them, pray with them, and all those things. That's maybe like a minor example of caste discrimination happening in our country. But there are caste crimes like murders, rapes, gang rapes, parading women naked. And all this is so horrible, so heartbreaking, so disheartening that this is the state of our country. And it's so heartbreaking to actually think about it and learn about it. And the amount of humiliation that people go through just because they are born to a certain caste, like the humiliation, I can't even imagine going through things like that, like being beaten up publicly and people recording the video and spreading the video and being so helpless. And we can, and and in the videos which are spread, we can see the helplessness in the faces of people, the fear, the helplessness, and it has broken my heart into a million pieces. It's, I can't even, yeah.
This is what I felt when I was watching those things, even on the documentaries, how they are treated. Like you mentioned, I just can't believe to this day people don't drink your mom's tea, the tea that's made by her. I think it's a big thing to reflect on in terms of how people are still following the age-old practices from the past. I came across this person that was speaking on this documentary. He said that neither him nor would he let his children to touch these people belonging to these specific castes because they are impure. I'm really shocked. Like, how come I'm only reading and learning about this now? And how come I never came across this stuff? I did came across this word untouchables during social studies in my school, but probably there was more to it, but not to this length until and unless we personally go and research about it. There isn't much knowledge that is being taught in this regard. I've heard of the word untouchable, but it did not hit me this hard then. And I'm still in the middle of reading the book Annihilation of Caste. It is the same from the ancient times, right? Like they're not allowed to drink water from the ponds, they have separate wells. So it is like if a Dalit person walks around, he has to tie a broom around his waist to sweep behind himself to not make the land impure. And the other thing is him carrying a ball so that his spit wouldn't hit the ground and the Hindu wouldn't step on it mistakenly, that will make him impure. And also, the interesting facts from the book is ghee is a luxury of these upper caste people, even though a person belonging to these lower castes, like Dalits, even though they can afford it, they can't eat it. Those facts are really shocking for me to hear. I came across this documentary. It's about the caste system in India, where they're asking people belonging to this specific caste with these specific names, Rajput, Thakur, wherein a person tells that neither him nor would he let his children to touch certain people belonging to certain castes, because even touching them would be impure for them. And I can't believe how they can openly say that, like at this point. I think that is from 2 years ago, but still.
Still, people comment in my reels that how to scroll without touching. People comment such things.
Yeah, coming back to your haters, I have seen your stories and posts. I just don't know what to say about it. What happened to their conscience when they say such things to other humans? Again,
Mhm.
I feel like even we talking about this stuff, I'm sure they would placate it as being the victims or making a big deal out of it.
Yeah. I think the major reason is that they have dehumanized us to the point that they don't feel any remorse or any regret saying those horrible things to us because we are not humans according to them. So they can't do whatever they want. They can say whatever they want to us. And especially on Instagram, they are hiding behind a screen, they are hiding behind a fake name with no profile picture. So it makes people even more wild. Yeah. And I get the biggest shock when I get hatred from women. Like, why are they hating me? Like, they are women, they are also oppressed in this society. And they want to somehow oppress me and insult me and harass me. And it's just this cycle of harassment, this cycle of abuse that I get a bit disheartened when I see hate comments from women, actual profiles of women.
Yeah, I have seen that too. I feel like, did they not come across the problems, or are they just being ignorant for the sake of backing whatever they're born into? I meant to say it like people do take pride in these things that they have no control over. The
Yeah.
family into which they are born into, the caste, instead of based on their work or what they do as a person or what they could bring from their existence. Like on one side, there are these people, they just take pride in their existence by being born into certain privileged societies. Whereas the other people, even though they have no control over these things where they are born into, this generational trauma that has been passed on to these specific castes, where they already undermine themselves just because people around them is pointing fingers at them saying that you're this and this is what you're capable of, this is what you should be doing, and this is what your limit. And for some people, I feel like even their moonshots is just landing a job, like a proper job that they could survive on. I feel like it's that pathetic our system has come to.
Yeah, our system, our society is pathetic to women, pathetic to Dalits, pathetic to disabled people. It's awful towards queer people. But still, our society, our culture makes a big deal out of we respect trans people. Like we got the Hijda culture. And they make this big deal out of, we have goddesses, female goddesses. We ask them for a blessings, and how Dalits and everyone is like very essential to the social fabric and so on. But there is this level of hypocrisy. Just like you said, people being proud of being born into a family, people being proud of being born into a caste. What exactly are they proud of? What exactly are they proud of? Are they proud of the fact that their ancestors kept a certain percentage of the population from reaching education? Are they proud of their ancestors stopping people from taking public roads? Are they proud of their ancestors forcing a set of population to wear a pot around their neck and carry a broom attached to their hip? What exactly are we being proud of here? That's something I think a lot, because these people, they will tell us that also you also can be proud of your heritage, your ancestors. Yeah, we are proud of our ancestors. That's for different reasons actually, because they survived it. They were resilient, they survived, they fell in love, they made stories, they made poetry, they made folklore, folk songs, art. They found beauty among all this chaos. And we have wonderful oral traditions and everything amidst of this very oppressive, inhumane, horrible caste system. That's something we can actually be proud of. But what is this Savarna people being proud of? What exactly is that?
I don't think I ever came across this word Savarna until I heard it from you. Could you please explain that?
So this Savarna is like, in the Hindu social structure, there is four varnas for the pyramid. And these four varnas are born out of each body part of Brahma. Like from the head, Brahmins came. So they represent knowledge, intellect, and that kind of stuff. And from the chest, Kshatriyas were born, like the warriors, the brave people, blah, blah, blah. And from the thighs, Vaishyas, or the traders, businessmen, that kind of people came. And from the feet, Shudras came. Shudras were actually laborers, laborers that like the labor with dignity, that kind of agriculture and that kind of labors. And rest are like untouchables, avarnas. So these four varnas, that people belonging to these four varnas is called savarnas, and the rest of us are called avarnas, without varna. We are not born out of Brahma. And we just, like Periyar said, our parents made us. All these four varnas, they were made by Brahma, and rest of us, our parents made us. So, yeah. So that is this Savarna Avarna thing.
Oh, wow. The word Avarna, I never heard of it. Also, you have mentioned the use of Riceback Comments. Could you please tell me, because that's something I never came across?
Yeah, this oppressed caste, like, or the Savannah people have this prejudice that Dalits or former untouchables, they can't take a decision for themselves. Like, they can't think for themselves, or they can't understand spirituality or philosophy or anything of that sort. So, if they are converting into some religion, it is definitely for some material benefit. So that's the primary reason behind this rise back convert. They cannot digest the fact that this set of people, they can think for themselves and analyze, and or be attracted to an ideology. Like, for example, Christian ideology, people can find it appealing. They cannot digest that. So they are making it into a slur that these people converted for material benefits, or rice bags or milk powder or that kind of stuff. And that's an insult which insult everything: the intellect of Dalits, the social lives, their autonomy, agency. So, yeah, that's what it is.
Right. I came across this point in Annihilation of Caste where he mentions that the Hindus are not okay with these people converting to other religions, but what options these people have? They definitely wouldn't think of converting to Hinduism because they're treated very badly. Why would one think of converting to this religion? And like you said, they tend to turn towards these other religions where they think that can liberate them from this ghastly treatment.
Yeah, that also was a catalyst in that time. Like people wanted to escape this horrible system which oppressed us. And Christianity at that time provided a better alternative than Hinduism. And I think Hinduism is mostly people weren't actually Hindus during that time because people had, especially Dalits, they had their own deities, their own gods and goddesses that they used to worship, which is not a part of the Hindu pantheon. Like they had their own worship things like nature and worshipping ancestral spirits and so on. So they were technically not Hindus who converted into Christianity, at least in my case, in at least in Kerala, because they were not even allowed inside the temple. How can they be ever be Hindu? They had their own thing going on. They had their own pagan culture. And later, Hinduism absorbed a lot of local pagan cultures, naming that your god is an avatar of our god. If you have a female god, she might be Lakshmi or something like that. And all these minor deities or these local deities were termed as stars of Hindu gods. And then Hindu culture absorbed these local cultures. That's what actually happened.
Right.
Yeah, but still they were a part of the Hindu social order. That is the caste system. So being a Hindu and being in the Hindu social order, social structure are different things. That's why I'm still Dalit, even though I'm born in a Christian family, because we still belong to this Hindu social structure because Christianity adopted this Hindu social order. That's why we are still treated as Dalits.
Yeah, I also get this sense that if we say we practice Christianity, people also tend to consider like there is an undernote to this, that they're SC or they're Dalits, which no one told me to my face. I feel like I can sense this generally when I speak to people. Because, like you said, it is very common to ask about and talk about the caste, like people's caste. For me, especially when I was in college, there is this people belonging to this certain group where they proudly go around saying out their names, especially their last names. I'm a Chowdhury, I'm a Reddy. I'm not sure if it's the same at your place, but that's the same in our case where they proudly say about these things.
Yeah, here in Kerala, people pretend that they moved beyond all these casteist things and do it very secretly. So in Kerala, caste a bit adapted to being this invisible force that people whisper and people give subtle connotations. And most of the time, people won't do it right on the face, but they practice caste in secret, in private, and it's more structural. Things get difficult for you if you want to do something. So it's more embedded in the structure of the society or how the society functions in general, more than what you face on a daily basis. Like it's not directly on your face, but it is there. That's how caste system operates in Kerala, at least for people who are a bit more privileged like me. But people in villages, people who are doing other kind of jobs, they might be facing this on everyday lives. Yeah.
Yeah, no one said it directly to my face. To an extent, they did not even ask me, but they do talk about this a lot. I'm
Mhm.
just curious to know, how did it all start for you? Like this knowledge of this caste right from your childhood, like your
Yeah,
experience.
yeah, we always knew that we belonged to this particular caste, but we ignored it and focused on our personal journeys, personal success, our personal things. We just kind of ignored everything until we couldn't. And when I reached college, everything became so evident, so obvious. Then I started reading more about it, like Annihilation of Caste and Ambedkar's work and other Dalit writers' works. Then that's how this all this knowledge came rushing down on me. And yeah, that's how it all started for me. Yeah.
What about your friends around, like in school? Did they ever speak about it, or even at college?
Yeah, in my school, like I had a bunch of bullies who used to bully me. They used to be oppressor caste kids. I was a good student. Like I was already a poet in school, and I used to participate in school festivals and everything and win prizes. So I was a good student in school and in college as well. I was a good student. So these kids, I think they were jealous of me. So they started like picking on me and calling me names, and especially regarding my skin. They started making fun of me. And when I was 11 years old, I tried to self harm in the classroom with a blade. And I still remember that someone saw that and they called a teacher. And I thought my parents will be called. This is going to be big trouble because I got my hand in the class. But nothing happened. She just scolded me and asked me to go back to my seat. That was it. So that was the care which is given to 11-year-old girls who are just in the beginning of puberty, fighting hormonal battles and everything. So that was the reality. So yeah, there were people who used to make fun of me and everything. But I knew somewhere inside me that this is because of my caste and my skin color. Skin color, it was very obvious because all the nicknames and slurs were based on that. And I complained to teachers. I complained to teachers like every day. I complained to teachers. And the teachers also asked me to just ignore them and focus on my studies. They're just jealous and that kind of things. And there were no real life consequences for them. No one scolded them or called their parents or everything. They just got a free pass. Everyone asked me to adjust, asked me to not notice them, don't give attention to them, don't take their words personally, and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, there was this period of huge bullying I had to face in school.
I'm so sorry you had to go through that, because when you mentioned that self-harming things, it brought me chills. Like 11-year-old. And how come I don't get it? How come the kids know about the caste and these differences at that age, and they already understood that they could look down on someone based on their color and where they're coming from? That's really sad to hear about it.
Yeah, maybe they discuss it in their families, like their parents are big castists. They just pass this information onto the children. They don't care. And they just tell their children that, oh, this person belongs to this caste. They are not good people because they belong to this caste. Maybe that kind of conversation is happening in their families, and that kind of upbringing they got from their parents, and that might be enabling them to be this inhumane to their fellow classmates. And the most horrible part is that we used to be best friends in preschool and in like lower primary school. We used to be like huge, close, tight knit friends. And in upper primary school, this happened. And in
Wow.
high school too.
Yeah, it's like it's all learned behavior, whatever they have learned from their parents. And it is sad, like even the teachers couldn't do anything about it. That brings me to question this. Like I was mentioning, I've heard of these words. It's not there. We have read, but why isn't it being taught in the schools?
Yeah,
Like
actually,
it's
I
not
think the
okay.
teachers also believe that I deserve it. That's the only conclusion I can get. Because I remember there was this particular teacher, her name is Reshmi, used to be my class teacher in one of these classes. I forgot which one. She used to teach me chemistry in high school. I remember telling her, ma'am, people are bullying me because I'm dark. And she was like, but you are dark. That's why they are bullying you. And I was like, yeah, I know I am dark, but it's okay for them to call me names because I am dark. And I exactly remember her responses, but you are dark. That's how she responded.
Wow, wow. It is like all I hear is they're being systemically encouraging to do all of to these people, to look down upon certain people. And coming to these color remarks, what I have observed is that people so commonly talk body shaming other person, saying it right to their face, you're dark. It's so common. Now that I'm in UK, it really feels depressing to be in this country due to lack of that sun exposure, because here it's always raining in the UK. So people tend to become paler, which is not a good thing. No one talks about other people's color. People really think a lot to make such remarks, because that's racism. But what about in our country? People do it very commonly and openly. When I move back, people start to say this, oh, she's become paler. In a sense, like looking good. That's the looking good. Fairness is equal to looking
Yeah,
good. That is
yeah,
like this beauty standards, which I'm not proud of, which I don't condone. But I have seen people tell this to other people with a different complexion, that you're dark, you got to do this. And even when it comes to these advertisements, Fair and Lovely, right? It's
yeah,
like they have openly degraded someone based on this color. I think now things have changed, but it's really sad how it could dissect a person in terms of their self-esteem and their self-worth, just because everyone around is doing it. And there are times even parents do this to their own kids. That's the saddest
yeah,
part.
yeah. Parents
Yeah.
do that to their kids because they are disappointed in themselves or they are disappointed in their children just because the child's skin is a little bit different than their preference. And I think these people are not eligible, like these people are not capable of actually being parents if they cannot unconditionally love their kids. I think Indian parents, they never love their children unconditionally, but they expect the unconditional love back from their children. So that's
Oh,
the
yeah.
thing with Indian parents. They are so entitled and they are problem. They are raising a generation of kids who would say horrible things to women on the internet. And yeah, I have huge opinions on Indian parents. They are not doing a good job raising their children.
No, I can go on and on about it, because
Yeah,
I feel like unknowingly they have been conditioned and they've been brainwashed. It's so ingrained in their mindsets that they need to please the society, and they go with the same
exactly,
standards.
exactly.
Yeah. And also, in a way, it is so we have done this and this for you. We have struggled a lot. We are living for you. And now, when we grow up, this is what you need to do. Basically, we will be happy when you meet our set expectations.
Yeah, this is something I learned in my mid 20s that whatever we do, our parents will never be happy. Like, never be happy. They will never be happy. It's impossible for us to make them happy. And I stopped trying to make them happy, and now my life is better. Yeah, I think the first kind of genuine appreciation or a congratulation I ever got from my parents is when I won a state award. That's when I got a genuine appreciation from them. And once. And takes a lot for them to actually appreciate or adore or love us. Why can't they just love us? We are their children. Who else is going to love us if they are not loving us? And they have this double standard when it comes to boys, like their male children, the Raja Betas, as we call them. So, this hypocrisy, this double standards, I'm so tired of this.
It is there. I have faced that too. Not a lot within my family because my mom is conditioned that way. When I was a kid, she used to ask me to do these household chores like sweeping and folding clothes and all, which was when I questioned her, like, why am I only supposed to do it, like being a girl? That's when she started to say to my brother as well. But I have seen parents do this to their kids, girls, asking them to go get water to your brother, go get food to your brother, whereas he would just be sitting on the couch relaxing. I have seen that too, even to this extent, even though things have been changing, the narratives
Yeah,
have been shifting, but it's mostly women who has to take care of most of the household work despite of them
yeah,
working as well. Yeah.
this. That's a major reason of divorce currently
Right.
because
Oh,
women are working inside and outside the house.
I'd like to mention that this is scientifically proven. Single women are more happier compared to the
Yeah,
married women, and they live longer as well. And when it comes to these expectations, I feel like, why would I want to do all of this? If you want me to get married and start a family, all I say is more work for me. I'm quite happy now. I'm quite free and happy and independent. Why would I want to listen to you just to please the society?
exactly. And I have met my childhood friends, not exactly friends, childhood acquaintances. And
Right.
they ask me, like, they're all married now. And they ask me, like, oh, did you get married? And when I say, no, I'm not married, I have seen the light goes off in their eyes. Oh, you're not married. And I can instantly sense this disappointment or the anger or the sadness or the jealousy. I have seen it in people's eyes. Oh, you're not married now. Oh, you're happy. They just want to pull us into their state. That's actually they want. And also, mothers with kids, they say they are very happy having kids and everything. But who are they going to fool? It's a lot of work raising children. I know because me and my brother, we are 15 years apart. So I also had a major stake in raising him, taking care of him when he has a baby. So it was a lot of work. I can vouch on that. It's not an easy task.
Yeah, I just don't know whether they're really happy or they just think they're happy by just following a timeline. Again, based
Yeah.
on their perspective, if they're happy, it's up to them. But the problem is when they tend to make the women who choose to be single the black sheep, like they're
Yeah.
going to be miserable. And for some reason, no one will be there to take care of us when we get old.
Yeah. Actually, there is no guarantee that their children will take care of them in their old age.
No
What makes them
guarantee.
so confident that they will?
Yeah, I think they just say it just because that's what they have heard. That's interesting. I would like to know what interested you in writing poems specifically. How did it all start?
Because when I was a child, I saw this importance given to poets and artists of that sort. So I thought I want to be like them. And I started writing when I was 8 years old or something. And like my parents, they encouraged me. They themselves are not very educated or anything, but they value art. They value literature. My father, he reads a lot. And in school, I used to get a lot of prizes for writing poetry and everything. So I understood that as something very rewarding, both mentally and materially. That was a rewarding process. And then I understood that this is something I should be doing with my life. And writing gives me a lot of pleasure. It gives me a lot of comfort. Yeah, it is something I love doing. There is nothing else in my life I enjoy more than writing a good poem.
I'm glad you could say that, because I'm just trying to understand. Throughout my childhood, it was more about going with the flow. I didn't know what to do, but it's mostly with being competitive in terms of getting good grades. And also, it's mostly either choosing two fields, medicine or engineering, like
Yeah.
maths or science. It's not very encouraged to even pursue sports or anything else like arts.
Yeah. But my
Did you?
parents are different. They force me to take arts. Maybe it's because it's cheaper to pursue arts or something like that. But they told me to go for English literature, study English literature. So I did both BA and MA. And they still encourage me joining for PhD. You do it, you study. Even though they are not that familiar with the academia, they value it. They find it important that girls should study. So it's a privilege that my parents understand what I'm doing is important. Yeah, not everybody has this privilege. Like you said, students, they will be forced to either of these streams. They don't have much choice going on in their life. But I had an option, like my parents were understanding. Yeah.
Yeah, like lots of children are forced. In my case, I didn't know what I was doing. I just went with the flow based on what my friends around have been doing. But now I'm very much into writing, and I could resonate with what you have been saying. I went through your posts right from the beginning on Instagram, where there is this poem you've written about a period. I couldn't connect what exactly you were saying, but that's very profound. So please tell us about your work. You have written the book Silk Route, and you have published it in 2021.
Yeah, that's actually a collection of poetry in Malayalam, and it mostly deals with my life as a Dalit Christian girl growing up in the villages and the stories I've heard and the things I've seen. So it's more personal work. Like everything is personal and is political for me. So it deals with the intersections of being a woman, being a Dalit, being a Christian, being from the villages and all those sort of things. Yeah. And I am very much interested in like creating gods, I think, deities, like creating religion. So I make gods through my poems. Like I describe gods as like people who walk among us and their stories and how they became a god or something. So that's something I really like to explore. And people being superhuman and doing superhuman things, that kind of things attracts me.
Right. What made you post your work on social media? How did you get started with it?
Because I thought I am already a kind of established poet in Malayalam. So I thought it would be easy for me to publish in English, but that was not the case. I think the publishing scene in English is even more elitist, and yeah. So I thought I need to connect with my readers, and the traditional way of publishing is not helping me so far. So I thought I'll just put it out on the internet and in social media and see what people are thinking about it. Yeah, that's what I did.
You do have a lot of haters, like in the comments. How did you start coping with all of that
So
hate they put out there?
I know for a fact that I can't speak of oppression with the blessings of people who oppress me. So it's so natural that they get agitated. It enrages them, and it's only natural that they behave the way they behave. What is the alternative? Them loving me. That would be tragedy. So I think it is this hate is part of revolution, and people have hated people before. Like people have hated and killed Jesus Christ, and every person who spoke uncomfortable truth, they got attacked and they got mocked, humiliated, harassed, abused, and so on. So that's how I process it. Like people leave hate comments, it tells about them being siding with the oppressors. That's them trying to be an oppressor from behind a screen. Yeah, that's all about it.
Did it ever affect you, all the hate they're
Like I
putting
said,
out there?
when women say awful things, I get the ick. Like when women say such things, it's even more horrible. But I get a lot of love as well. Like I get a lot of messages filled with love. So I think the love I'm getting is like double the hate I get online. Yeah.
Right. Also, you were mentioning about left wing and right wing in one of the videos. Like when you were trying to do your research about your thing, it is being interpreted on certain right wing ideology you
Yeah.
mentioned. Could you please explain that?
Yeah, because right wing people, Hindutva people, they want to oppress Dalits, and they don't want them converting into other religions. That's one thing. And when these oppressed caste people, Dalits, convert into other religions and they face discrimination there, it's natural because Indian society there is discrimination. So the caste is practiced across religions. So they will be discriminated in other religions too. And the right wing, the Hindutva, will weaponize this discrimination to attack the process of conversion, to attack the agency of Dalits who actually convert. Oh, you guys are getting discriminated there, then what's purpose of converting? In that kind of way.
Right. So, is there anything else that you would like to specifically mention, like a message you want to say about why you're doing what you're doing?
I think being kind and empathetic is more important than being politically correct or right, because people want to be politically correct and right all the time, and they are not focusing on being kind or empathetic. Yeah, that's what I want to say.
So, thanks a lot for doing
Thank
this with
you so much.
me.
Thank you, Sri.
I know we barely scratched the surface there. If any of this resonated with you, do let us know. Thank you.